Thanks for coming. We appreciate the support and everyone coming out here to get a preview on us. We've been going at it just like Ryan has for about 16 practices and trying to figure out our group a little bit. And there's going to be a lot of unknowns about our team this year going in, especially during the beginning of the season and stuff, and then with the new league, all that unknowns with that too. So we're just like Ryan, we're ready to get into it and find out where we stack up and some of the things that we're going to have to improve on, see where we fit into this whole thing. It's going to be a great learning experience. We're really glad that we're in this last year of transition. It's been a long time dealing with these last 3 years with that, and not only from the playing standpoint, the travel standpoint, and recruiting. There's some kids that still have come here without knowing they're not going to play in some of this stuff. I look at a kid like Louis Krogman and Jordan. They came to this program pretty much knowing they were never going to have a chance to play in any NCAA type tournament. Some of the junior college kids, Charlie Westbrook, Ricardo, came here last year knowing they weren't going to play in it. And I think that says a lot about those kids, that they're still willing to come and play for the University of South Dakota. Hope to have a really great experience knowing that they don't have that. Not that you're ever a great candidate to be in it. I know how difficult that's ever going to be to reach that tournament, and we have a long ways to go with that. But that's still what those kids dream about. They play so much in the summer in high school, and they want to go play Division I basketball for that big dream at the end that they could someday play in the NCAA tournament. And I know the guys that we have now that are here as freshmen and have a chance of that someday. That's their goal. That's their dream. They're going to work really hard to try to get to that someday. And hopefully, not too far down the road, USD will be in a position to contend for something like that. But finally, we're in the league. It has that full season tournament that's going to give you that opportunity, and it's really exciting to think about those things. And I know our coaching staff's working really hard on that, and our players are working really hard on that, and hopefully that will come someday. I thought our guys had a good summer. We've got a core group back, and they worked here. They stayed here all summer. We had some summer school things going on. Jevin Bowman did a really good job with our kids in the weight room. I think if you see our returning guys, you'd say that they are bigger. I think they're a little more athletic than they were a year ago. And they spent a lot of days in that gym, and shooting and playing and all that stuff. And I think that's kind of what you have to be. That's your foundation of a program. Until you get that work ethic and that commitment there, and to keep kids improving. Because the kids we get, I believe, are talented, but we have to develop them. All of our guys still are going to get better once they enter into the program and go against that competition and put all those hours into it. We still have to develop kids to reach the level that we're going to try to reach at. And then along with that core group back, we had a nice group of recruits come in, and now we have to blend those two together. And that takes some time, and that's where the unknowns come in. The core group we have back, just if I talked about our guards, if I broke down our three groups, our guard play, it has some experience there. Louis Krogman is fourth year in this program. We expect him to have a very good year for us. Last year was really the first year I thought he played in the program healthy all the way through. He had some knee problems before that, and he had some surgeries done and stuff, but I thought he had a really good junior year, and we're going to count on him an awful lot this year. Charlie Westbrook will be in that guard group. Jordan Booth will be in that guard group. And then a couple of the freshmen. I'll talk a little bit about our freshmen on some of the redshirting and stuff yet, but the guard candidates for that, Brandon Boss is a 6'1" kid out of Toronto, Canada. Has done a nice job in practice so far. Nim Hilliard's done a very good job in practice with that too. And we'll have to make some decisions on all three. Our other freshman is Terrell Brown. He'll play at that 3 spot a little bit with Steve Tecker and Alan St. Galais. Alan's a new player from France, 6'7" kid, and Tech you saw last year. He's also, every day we think about his health. I don't talk to him about it, but I think about it an awful lot. He certainly had some issues last year with it. The second half of the season really struggled with trying to get through it with his hip problems, and he did have surgery again in the spring to see if that could correct some things. So far, so good. He's a key guy to us. If he can stay healthy, we know he's going to make a big impact and a lot of contributions. But they'll play at that 3 spot, those 3 guys. And then our big kids, we were really small last year. Obviously, everyone knew that. I think it was a challenge for us to defend last year, a challenge to rebound last year with the size that we put out there. We played an awful lot on that perimeter. Didn't really have an inside game going. Trevor Bruce and Ricardo Andriotti both played minutes there last year, and as new guys. And I think they got a little bit better as the year went on. Trevor maybe wore out a little bit the last few games at the end of the season. It was a long, ended up playing 33 games. That's an awful lot for a freshman kid to come in after just playing a short high school season and all that. But I thought he had a really good freshman year. Jared Bartling and Nick Mabbitt will be the other 2 kids. So those 4 kids should play at that 4 and 5 spot for us. And it gives us more size. Nick is about 6'9", right in there, and Trevor's grown a little bit, and Bartling's grown a little bit, and done a nice job in the weight room and stuff. And so we'll see where that takes us. Ricky's a much improved player from a year ago. And I think that's kind of a trademark of a junior college player. The second year seems to be a little bit better than their first year. They get more acclimated to what we do, and they just start fitting in a little bit better. So we're going to break it down into those 3 categories. We're going to look at how do our guards play each night, how do our 3-man play that night, how do our bigs play that night, and utilize as many kids as we can. All 3 of our freshmen have done a good job. They could contribute this year. But they're all candidates to redshirt also. We're going to look hard at that. We have another week before I have to make that decision before we open. But this is the year that we're not eligible. We could save 4 years of eligibility for them to have a chance at those tournaments and compete for the postseason tournament. Yeah, so we have a decision we have to make, but I'm going to go right to the end before I have to make it. But more than likely, 1 will play. We'll see if we go beyond that. But we're going to look at that real hard. The schedule's going to be good. Nebraska is a good opener for us, very talented team. They bring back almost all those guys from a year ago. Plus they have a point guard that sat out last year that 2 years ago started for LSU and was averaged over 14 points a game. And he'll really make a difference in their team. He's a great shooter, really a big-time guard in that. So that'll be the opener, and then we get on the road a little bit. We have 14 home games. You won't see us very much in November and December. I think we're only going to have an Omaha game at home, Tabor, and then those 2 conference openers right after Christmas, I think. So once we get past that, even January's a little slight there too, but from the middle of January, when the students get back, when we start spring semester, we have 8 home games. And I think that's really going to be fun for our guys, for our student body, hopefully our whole fan base. We'll get to see our team play often. Right now, these past 4 years, you just had no consistency when we played, where we played. You'd see us maybe a time or 2 in November, and then we'd be gone for 3 weeks, and then come back and try to identify with those kids. So we're just looking forward to getting back to a good continuity, playing Thursday, Saturday, where people know that, and they can get to those games and watch that and learn about these guys. And I think if you watch a team from beginning to end, you'll start enjoying them more and more. If you just see them occasionally, it's hard to know who's who, and if they're playing well, if they're not playing well, and that. So that whole thing with that league is going to be great. I've always enjoyed that beginning to end of a conference schedule. Playing everybody, that's the thrill of a conference thing. The rivalries are going to be great having those back, but everyone's going to be so important. You lose 2 on a weekend, you fall down those standings, you win 2, you jump up in there. As you win your way into being a contender, I think that gets exciting for coaches and players and stuff, but you've got to do that. Now, obviously, Ryan says the media was kind to him on Summit Day, probably not so much to us. We're dead last in there, so we're okay with that. We'll see how that plays out. But I guess we'll look at it. If we finish 9th, everyone's got to say he did a lot better than everyone thought. So, but we'll set our sights higher than that. I promise you that. We got a great group of kids. Academically, they're doing a good job. The guys from last year graduated. Everyone's on track. They're doing everything a college athlete's supposed to do right now. They work hard in the off season. They go to class. They're getting degrees. They're going to represent our university very well, our community and our state very well. Just such a new experience for us. I can't tell you what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are until we get in there and start playing. It's always impossible to tell what you do against yourselves in practice. So once we start playing Nebraska, Eastern Washington, and Morehead State, and we'll get some things figured out of if we have some strengths, we can come back and maybe even improve on those. But the weaknesses that we'll find out, we can get back and start working on those. And that's the key. If you can eliminate some of those and improve on those as the year goes on, once you hit February, maybe you'll be a lot better basketball team. So we're going to look at that hard and just keep working at it and go from there. I'll take questions on them. I've probably covered more than I needed to there. Mick? That's, we're going to find that out. Almost college basketball really starts with guard play. I know that league is really strong with guards. If you have great guard play, you usually have a pretty good college basketball team. And obviously Reggie Hamilton and Nate Walters really lead that pack. Ciola Clark is maybe in that category with those who did not play last year with an injury at Western Illinois. So I know that league is really talented with guards. You know, not that many college teams have great big kids. I think when you get a kid like a Keith Benson that Oakland had, that's why you end up going 17-1 through a league, because those kids are so special and hard to get at our level. There's just not that many big kids to fill out every roster out throughout the whole country, and that, you know, a lot of the high majors are going to take 4 or 5 of those kids just because they have to have some just to practice against. They can't practice against 6'5" kids, so they'll take some big kids that may not play a lot for them, but they need them in that practice setting. So that's what we got caught totally last year. We just could not find enough big kids to fill out our roster. And we ended up playing with just 2 big kids. The next kids that went in there were 6'2" and 6'4". So at least we're back in that 6'8", 6'9" range, which we had to have. But that summer league is good. There's that top to bottom. You know, everyone looks at you. You're going to have some bad records in there just because those bottom teams are going to lose some games and stuff. And they'll be competitive, close games. And if you come up on the short end of all your close ones, that's why you finished down in the 2nd division and that. But again, we're just viewing everything from the outside. I haven't been on the inside of that league, obviously, to really know that, and that's going to be the challenge. Can we adjust to it quickly? You know, the most important season I think you have is the one that you have. We're not trying to build this thing 4 or 5 years from now. That's going to take care of itself. But you've got to prepare and have the best season you can have right now. That's the most important one to have. Jeremy? Well, Louis has played that spot off and on for us the previous 3 years. He's been a combo guard. He's played some 2, he's played some 1. We're going to give him a shot at that and kind of put him in there now and see if he can handle it all the way through. And then Brandon Boss, and then we have to decide which one we want to have be the backup to him and see how that works. But those are the 3 candidates for it right now. All very talented kids. I think they possess leadership abilities for us. And I know whichever one we do redshirt is going to certainly play a ton a year from now. Both of them are very talented. We're very fortunate to get both those kids. They have great talent as players right now, and are really going to have great careers.